Hey gang, today I want to talk about the church and I want to talk about religion and salvation. The church is a very good thing. It's not a bad thing. Church gets a lot of bad rap for what they do and this and that, but the church is really a place for you to come and get re-energized. It builds your spirit back up for another week out in the world. As believers, we go out into the world, and it's not a great place all the time. So we need a place where we can come and encourage each other, get built back up, so we can go out and live another week. That's what that's all about. Also, it is a place where you can learn. When you go to Bible study, hopefully you're getting educated when you go to church and you're not just listening to a bunch of confusing babble. If you're listening to confusing babble and it's not making sense, try going to a different church. There's a lot of them, and you'll find one that you can really fit in with. Now, religions are man-made. Religions are totally man-made, and there's a lot of them. They all believe in different gods. They all have different beliefs, and all of their different beliefs comes down to salvation. They believe salvation is achieved in what they do. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going about things the wrong way, and they believe that you can achieve salvation by works. You can do nice things, you can help people, you can be nice to people, and you can still kind of just do whatever you want to do, and you can do things your way, and just as long as you're being nice and helpful and you're checking off the list, all of these things, that you will achieve salvation. And that is not the key. Salvation is an instant fail. And what I mean is think about it. We are answering to the highest king, not just an earthly king. Now you can think back, in the back when the jester used to come out and entertain the king and juggle, throw hoops, or whatever they do. Maybe the juggler wouldn't juggled 9 balls. Maybe the king wanted him to juggle 8, but he came out and he juggled 9 instead, trying to really impress the king. And the king would say, "Hey, enough. I wanted you to juggle 8 balls and you're juggling 9. Take him to the lions." And they would have him killed. So don't think that you are going to do works, because you're not. Your works will never be enough. It will never amount to enough. It will never be enough. You will never do it the right way, and you will not do it enough. You will never, it'll never work, because the king can always say, "Nah, to death. I didn't want you to do it that way. I wanted it done this way." Kill him. So Jesus needed to pay for our sin on the cross, because the wages of sin was death. And unless you believe in the Big Bang Theory, or whether you believe in creation, really determines your idea on salvation. If you believe in creation, then there is a creator, and that God who is in heaven, we are one day going to have to answer to him, and you cannot enter the gates of heaven with sin. That's why Jesus died on the cross, to pay for our sin. Because everybody was a sinner. We're all just human. We're all just sinners. And nobody would enter heaven. God does not want us to perish. He did not create us to perish. He wants us to be in heaven. But in heaven, there cannot be no sin. So, the big thing here is sin and forgiveness. We have to be forgiven of our sins in order to enter. But there's one other thing. There's one other thing that a lot of people, I think, fail to remember. And it's a very important one. Matter of fact, in the Bible, God commands it. Jesus commanded it. Jesus, when he was on the earth, he said, his two greatest commandments: love the Lord your God with all your heart, and love your neighbor as yourself. We need to be forgiving our neighbors. Just as Jesus forgives us, we need to be forgiving past debts of our friends. Now, Jesus would say, forgive others just as I forgive you. He would also say, how can I forgive you when you don't forgive others? So what we need to do is we need to remember that it's not just about having a friend in Jesus. It's about forgiving past debts, our old friends who have done us wrong back in the day. We need to let it go. And we need to forgive them and let it go and forget it. You cannot harbor these old debts with people. Because when you meet Jesus, Jesus is going to harbor debts with you. And you cannot enter heaven with sin. You have to be completely washed of sin. So just as Jesus forgives you of your sin, we are commanded to forgive others of their sins. This is a very important thing. And I believe a lot of Christians may be in big trouble over this one. Because they do everything right. They go to church. They work in the ministry. They've won souls to Jesus. They pray. They worship. They lead worship. They even go on missions and they do all of these things. But they hate their old, they have these old debts that they have not forgiven others. They hate, they still have hate in their heart for their brothers or sisters, their boss, or whoever it may be. You can't have hate in your heart. And there's good news. There's good news today. Today the good news is you can pray and absolutely ask Jesus to help you let go of these old things. A lot of people have come to terms with this, and they have grown tired of living with these old bitter feelings, and they have decided, you know what, I don't want to live like this anymore. I'm still bitter for my ex-wife or whatever. No more. I need help. I need to let this go. I want to forgive, forget, and I want to be happy, and I just want to move on in my life. And if you pray, Jesus will absolutely change it around. So he wants to help. Just as much grace, he has so much grace that he is willing to help somebody forgive who struggles in forgiving. We all sin against Jesus. Jesus' grace is so good that he's forgiven us of our sins, and he understands us, and he wants to help us forgive and be more forgiving of others so that we can move on and we can overcome these old demons. And it's very, very important when we meet our Maker, because you need to be forgiving, just like Jesus is forgiving, so that he can forgive you, so you can enter. Those are the two top things. And that's salvation. That is salvation right there. Thank you, gang. I hope this helps. These 2 points really came to me in another video, and I wanted to share them again. I do believe that this video is going out to whoever needs to hear this message. And I hope that it has gotten you thinking about things. And see you in another video.